2 Chronicles 25, 1-4 says, Amaziah was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 29 years, and his mother's name was Jehoiadan of Jerusalem. And he did right in the sight of the Lord, and yet not with a whole heart. Now it came about, as soon as the kingdom was firmly in his grasp, that he killed his servants who had slain his father the king. However, he did not put their children to death, but did as it is written in the law of the book of Moses, which the Lord commanded, saying, Fathers shall not be put to death for sons, nor sons be put to death for the fathers, but each shall be put to death for his own sin. And to the left, and by glory and dishonor, by evil report and good report, regarded as deceivers and yet not true, unknown to the well-known, dying yet be but living, punished and yet not put to death, and as sorrowful yet always rejoicing, as poor yet making rich, and as having nothing possessing all things. Well, if you're joining us in reading through this 90-day reading plan, today's reading is 2 Chronicles 25, and I encourage you to read that passage. Well, the story of Amaziah is extremely interesting and extremely sad. He had an understanding of what it was to have a relationship with God, but he also had this attitude problem, and he thought more highly of himself than he should. Now, after God had delivered him from the Edomites, he took their altars and idols and bowed down before them, and while he obviously didn't know exactly why he would do that kind of thing, there might be several possible solutions. First, he maybe wanted to show the Edomites that even though he had defeated them, they were welcome in the Jewish culture. Secondly, he may not have fully understood the exclusiveness of having a relationship with God. And finally, he may have just thought it was a good idea. But in any event, it was wrong, and he was judged for it. Now, many times we as Christians tend to take the secular and bring it into our Christianity. Some of this joining together is not in itself bad. For example, some of the Christian music today, actually a large part of it, comes from the secular culture. Only the words have changed to quote or Christianize it, unquote, but in other things that are a little more nefarious. There are times when we allow secular culture to determine what we believe, and this is the case in some of the denominations where lifestyles that are against biblical standards are not only tolerated, but they are also celebrated. This is also the case when we cheapen humanity by defining it as beginning at birth rather than beginning at conception. While both of these subjects are extremely difficult because they're emotional, we need to maintain our correct understanding of God's Word. And that correct understanding comes from the historical or traditional understanding, which has been held for 2,000 years in Christianity and 4,000 years in Judaism. And it does not mean that we do not love our neighbors and those who disagree with us, but loving them does not mean supporting their beliefs. If they go against the clear statements of the Scriptures, we should not believe them, and we should not encourage them.